Let us move on to our second division of law, which is the national law. First of all, I would like to start by defining a nation. Nation refers to a group of people being bound together by common language, identity, ethnicity, or history. A state or country now refers to the artificial legal person consisting of people living together. That is a nation. The people live together in a particular territory under a specific common authority, which is a government. So, in other words, the state is a geographical area with people living in it. We have a common governing body who regulate, instruct, and guide them for the well-being of that community using the law. You can see the flags of various nations illustrated below in this picture. These are the various nations we are talking about. Some may call them nations, some may call them states, and others can call them countries. National law consists also of public and private law, as it is with international law. Public law regulates cases between the private individuals in the state and the state itself. That is, for example, crimes like murder and rape. Then private law, it governs relations between private persons and cases. For example, business law, civil laws. This will be covered in detail later in this lesson. Next, still on international law, let me explain a bit the characteristics of national law. Detailed lesson on characteristics of national law is available on this channel. You can watch lesson number 1, which defines and gives characteristics of law. So national law is made up of a body of set of rules which create binding authoritative values and decisions in that state. The laws govern human conduct of people in the state, as what must be done and what must not be done is highlighted in law. The laws are created and upheld by the state as the state manages law creation and its maintenance. The law is backed by powerful authority which enforce the laws like police and the courts. Then lastly, the violation of laws attracts sanctions and punishments. National law have lots of benefits in the state, as it establishes standards of behavior in the society of the state. Law outlines what should and what may be done, as well as what should never be done. Law also helps in settling disputes which arises between and among the people in the state. Law in the nation additionally helps to preserve or maintain order. The law promotes also social justice, as rights and liberties of people in the state are highlighted in law and are upheld by the state. Additionally, law helps in maintaining the state of things in the state, giving the state a reliable and stable environment, politically, economically, and socially. The last benefit is that national law helps in facilitating orderly change in the state, as the law gives rules which are followed to ensure flawless and non-violent change in the state. If you would like more information and examples on the benefits of national law, visit Introduction to Law lesson number 2 on purposes of law. Now, what are the limitations of national law? Limitations include the rigidity of law. The law should be frequently changed and adjust to the changing environment in the state. Laws can be used to repress individuals and limit their rights in some countries. The law can also serve the interest of a few individuals rather than promoting the welfare of the society, because those who have the final say on the proposed laws, who can also change those laws, can easily misuse their positions for their own benefit, changing laws so that they can serve their personal interests and gains. Let us now look at the sources of national law. There are historical sources, customs, legislation, and judicial precedent. The historical sources is made up mainly of Roman Dutch law, which has commonly formed part of many nations' laws. Customs is the other source of law. Customs are habitual practices that are habitually observed by people in a community, and customs are inherited by people in that community. Until the practices are no longer a norm, but everyone in that community is expected to follow the customs. Failure and violation of that custom have legal consequences. When a custom is part of the national law, the custom is legally binding on all citizens in that state. The custom is enforced by the state, and the state punishes or sanctions those who fail to observe that custom. For example, a customary marriage. The other source of national law is legislation. Legislations vary among countries depending on the distribution of power among different levels of government and the form of electoral representation. For instance, in Zimbabwe, the parliament take part in the legislative process or the lawmaking process. This process is described in detail in the introduction to Law Lesson 7, which unravel the sources of law. The last source of law I have for you is judicial precedent. The main role of the judge is not to make laws, but in the course of giving decisions on cases, law is made, as past decisions create laws for judges to refer back to for guidance in future cases. The past decisions of judges are usually binding in future cases. Thus, if cases are the same, those decisions should be followed. This is good as uniformity, certainty, reliability, and equality is maintained in the courts. Because if cases are the same, the judgment is the same also. Stare decisis, judicial dissident, and obiter dicta are the forms of judicial precedent which are used as a source of law by the courts. As I have mentioned earlier, all the information and cases as well as examples are available in the introduction to law lessons. Look for lesson number 7. You can get more information on the sources of law if you watch that video. As I end our discussion on national law, let me give you some examples of the national laws we are talking about. Number 1, we have the criminal laws, that is robbery and murder. 2, human rights laws, right to life, right to fair trial, and the freedoms. Number 3, the commercial laws, like tax laws. Number 4, the administrative laws, which regulates fuel, road laws, and water rates in some countries. Let us now move on to the third division of law, which is the substantive and procedural law. First of all, I will explain substantive law.